Thank you, co-host.
Yo.
Hey, you still can't hear us.
I mean, I'll own my shit
intrigued.
in this podcast. Ask me about the Final Four. Ask me about the Final Four.
Welcome, everybody, to Real Talk
with real siblings and basically our honorary third host of the entire Sequester season.
I know.
Oh,
Mr.
stop.
Brent Wolgamott.
Stop.
All the best Wolgamott. He's here.
Greatest of all time. Yo,
What's up?
I'm
What's up, man?
so excited to have you. We're so excited.
I am so excited to be here. This is really cool. I love being on the other side of the microphone. So it's very fun to talk with you guys. I've been following you guys all season long. I've been promoting you to anybody I can when I've been on social media. That isn't always the case. But when I am, I'm trying to promote you guys as much as possible. So I loved watching you guys cover the season. You guys had some really cool takes and more often than not, correct takes, if I do say so.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yes, I was here
We'll
for you.
take that. We'll take that. I mean, we try to keep it real. And yo, I mean, let me tell you what, this interview, we're keeping it real. And you already know Brent is keeping it real. So we're about to drop some gems.
Yeah, the season's over, so no need to be nice. I'm gonna let some people have it. That's fine. Let's go.
Oh, I can't wait.
Let's
get
start
into it.
in on that finale episode. So it was emotional. Well, to most, I don't know where you're coming from. I'm intrigued to hear your views, but a lot of people thought it was emotional. A lot of people thought it was a well-deserved win.
Yes.
Let's go to the vote. Let's start with the vote.
Yes.
You had some confrontations with Billy this season.
Yes.
So I think most people assumed you were voting for Spencer, but what were
first of all, no, Billy and I are, first of all, Billy is the diamonds. Billy and I are two sides of the same coin. I've said this before. She's absolutely wonderful. I never held any of our fights against each other. Like, anything that she said to me, I never held it against her. Billy is just like me in that she can blow up and then be totally fine 5 seconds later. Like she doesn't carry any of that animosity over with her. So I never held that against her. It was a very close vote. In fact, we knew, once Jacob came into jury, we knew who the Final Four were. We were going through permutations in our heads, and this was always the Final Four. This was always the Final Two, rather, that I was going to have the most problems with.
Really?
This one was the one where I'm like, I'm so close. I acknowledge Billy's fantastic gameplay. I mean, you have to acknowledge the fact that she was never voted out. She was never pulled into a battle match. So obviously that says something about her social game. But on the other hand, Spencer is my real life friend. And I love his story arc. Like, he did the impossible. He's like the asshole, douchey, straight white male who became an underdog, you know? Like, I mean, that's not easy to do. And so I knew that I was going to have a tough time going into the finale if it was Billy and Spencer. I really didn't think there was a way it could be Billy versus Spencer. But then the unthinkable happened at the Final Four, and then this happened. So, it happened.
That wheel, man. That damn wheel.
I know.
You can say the damn wheel. I would respectfully say that damn Natalie, because it really wasn't the damn wheel. It was Natalie until everything was going great until Natalie lost her fucking head. And then that's when things went downhill. So Natalie starts the Final Four with, Josh, you better vote for Billy or I'm going to drag you. And he's like, okay, let's vote, because I know Spencer's in on it. Let's go. And then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, Natalie's like, so Billy, how do you feel about voting for Spencer? Which makes no sense whatsoever. Look, I just want to say what I'm saying right now. Okay. Because I said this on a previous podcast and I want to make sure I'm clear. Natalie, the person, love you, girl. You're amazing. My heart is with you. I understand. You didn't always have it the easiest this year. In this season, there's a lot of big personalities in the cast. Maybe you aren't the loudest personality in the cast. So I get it where you're coming from. But on a strictly pure gameplay level, you dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. It felt like a quit. It felt like a quit, and I'm going to use my magic wand to play Kingmaker over the entire season and crown the winner my damn self. Now, I heard her say on another podcast, Silent Sequester, which I'm also a big fan of, that it's not a problem with her. It's a problem with the Final Four. It's a problem with the game. No,
Wait, what does
it's
that
not
mean?
a problem. She's trying to say, like, don't hate me just because I made a play in the game. Like the Final Four allows someone like me to do something like that, which of course it does. But that ignores the fact that you stopped playing for yourself self-interestedly in that moment. When you stop doing that, then the game becomes what it was in that instance. Broken. It becomes broken, and then something weird happens like this. Now, I also want to say, for those people out there who are praising Natalie, please do not praise Natalie. Praise Billy. I'm sorry, praise Billy, because that was an amazing move that she pulled off. Let's give all the praise to Billy, okay? I can support Natalie. I can say, I love you, Natalie. I can say, you're my friend, Natalie. But I will not stand by and say that was any sort of anything at the Final Four. That was some bullshit. She quit, okay? I feel like she quit. And she decided to say, you know what? I'm doubting myself, and I'm going to make Billy the winner of the season, which she did. So congratulations.
In case y'all didn't know, this is real talk.
Yo.
Real Simmons and Brent.
I said what I said.
I said what I said.
I mean, I have a lot of apologizing to do to Natalie.
Honey,
we're going to talk with her tomorrow. I have a lot of apologizing to do to her as a person, but I don't disagree with at all with your analysis of her game. I really can't.
Tea is piping hot, honey. Let me just say, the tea is piping
I'm not saying
hot.
I would say, here's the thing. I would say this to Natalie's face.
Oh, of course.
I have not talked about this. I'm not being, I feel like I'm not being unfair by saying.
No, you're absolutely not. You're absolutely not.
Like, she acknowledges, she said she was mad at herself in the Final Four. Like, and once she got to the Final Two and when she was in questioning, she was mad at herself because she knew she screwed it. She screwed it up. She screwed it up. She doubted herself in that moment. She let Billy get to her. She started doubting herself. She said, you know what? I don't think I can win the game, so I want you to win the game. It was like a Lil from Survivor Pearl Islands, where Lil thinks that if I could get to the Final Two with Johnny Fairplay, but I really don't want him to win, and I don't think I can beat him. So I'm going to take Sandra to the Final Two.
But to be fair, do you think I think she's right. I don't think she could have won. I don't think there
would have been close. She has a chance. If she gets, here's the thing. Because I think if she votes, on the revote, if Natalie votes out Billy, then Billy drags Spencer and Natalie gets to the Final Two with Josh. Now, I know you're thinking from the outside looking in, oh, wow, Josh was amazing. We love Josh. He was amazing. Look at all the things he had to say in the confessionals. We didn't see any of those confessionals.
True.
A lot of people in the jury, in my opinion, did not respect Josh because what we saw was this. I know from the outside looking in, it looks like a player who has no ties to anybody whatsoever, who valiantly integrates himself into the game and plays everybody against everybody and gets to the Final Four in a position to win the game. And that is all true. And I want to give him all the respect in the world for that. Watching him at home, he was fantastic. But within the game, it felt to me, I'll just take me, I'm not going to take anybody else. It felt to me as though people came for Josh right away because he didn't have a lot of connections. It wasn't because he was looking for an LOS. I just want to put that out there. It wasn't because of the damn LOS. That was just a convenient excuse. It was because he was the person with the least connections in the cast. And then after he survived round one, everybody decided that they got bigger fish to fry. He did look, I'll give him credit in the world, all the credit in the world. He did a good job of integrating himself within the game, getting in with the power players so that he wasn't targeted by anybody. But from a values perspective, as a juror, I was taking swings left, right, and center every freaking round. You guys saw, it felt to me, and you can say it's because of my messy gameplay, and I'll own that. That's great. But I'm always going to identify with the people that have a messier gameplay. And Josh, once he was good in round one, he was clean the rest of the way. No one ever took a swing at him. And I like the people that get swung at and then come back and survive it, the underdogs. And that's why, Spencer was getting swung at every freaking round. So, I'm always going to side with somebody like him.
I mean, Marcelo didn't take a full swing at Josh, but it was like a pod.
It was like a gay pat. It was like when I would fight with a boy in high school.
Yeah, a little slap fight.
Okay,
yeah,
that's what it was like. Yeah.
That's a great point. Highlighting the difference between what the viewer saw and what the jury was experiencing. Let's segue into jury talk. You had, not in an insulting way, you had a substantial time with the jury. You got to really see what was going on in their heads. What overall was it like in the jury? Physically, what was it like? Were you guys in the basement for it? What was the roommate situation like? And what was it like socially?
It was fine. I mean, I came into jury. Audrey told me that she's going to put it up on Patreon, like, after the season, which again, I don't know how many people are going to watch, but hopefully a lot of people will. When I came into jury, obviously, it was like, like right away, like when I came in, because all those people hated me. But once they started talking to me and I was like, look, I'm out of the game too. Like, it was like 1 minute later, it was totally fine. Now I've seen some people, Shireen, say on social media that it wasn't really fun being in jury with me and that it was pretty awful the entire time. From my perspective, that is not true. It was totally fine being in jury with Rachel and Shireen, Katie, Jay West, later Brendan, and other people that came into jury. I had the most amount of time with those first 4 people that obviously were in jury, but it was fine. Like, everybody had their own groups about who they were closest to. I became particularly close with Katie in jury, which is ironic considering our play in the game. But everybody got along great, swimmingly. We often talked about, the final 2 and who we would vote for. We had each contestant sort of ranked in our heads, and there was no animosity. Like, I mean, I was kicking with Shireen and Rachel right up until the end. It wasn't until after the season that things started to go downhill just a little bit, with me in particular, because I have a voice. I'm outspoken about certain things, and they do too. So, there's always going to be some clashes when you have people who are like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk about, you mentioned you guys all kind of had your player rankings. What were the rankings?
For me, particularly after date night, Jacob was number 1. I would have voted for Jacob. I would have voted for Jacob over the second coming of Dan Giesling if I could. Jacob was everything I wanted in a player. Because he proved me wrong. I thought Jacob was miscast on the season, if I'm being totally honest. I've said this before.
Jacob, really?
I did, because he's a 2-time winner. But girl, he was kind of boring during those 2 games, and I'm looking for fun when I go to the TV, okay? And Jacob says this himself. Like, he realizes, like, he wasn't, an out there in your face player for his first 2 mini wins. Now, I mean, you can cast him because, hey, he was the first 2-time mini winner, and that's great. Let's cast him for that. But I was totally proven wrong throughout the season, because Jacob was the star of the season. He was everything I wanted in a TV player, and everything I wanted in a strategic player, he was. Now, he was messy. He got into some trouble. Maybe he took a swing at Muna too fast, but he was so cold and so savage and so everything that you want in a reality. Like, we don't want, I'm sorry, like, real tea, real talk, siblings, okay? We don't want the people who are like, I'm loyal to my people and I want to get to the end. We saw that during Big Brother 22. That was really, really boring, okay? We like the people like Jacob who are like, I'm going to backstab Muna and I can't wait to do it. Can you believe it? So, yeah, I would have voted for Jacob over anybody. If Muna had gotten to the end, especially after date night, I would have voted for her. So it was always Jacob and Muna going after the ramifications of date night and Brendan was out of the game. It was always Jacob and Muna. Then some, grouping of Spencer and then Billy, Josh, Natalie, and then Marcelo at the bottom.
Okay. This is so fascinating to me to hear Josh being so low, because I mean, it's certainly what we saw and what you guys experienced were 2 different things, but I think you might be underestimating, or maybe I'm overestimating Josh's ability to talk. And I feel like if he got to that final, if he was standing next to certainly a Natalie, probably a Spencer, I think he'd be able to articulate his game better than they would. And
that's
I think that would be able to sell him.
Yes. Yeah. Going into the finale, I think that Natalie has a fighting chance, especially if she gets to the end with Josh or Spencer. Okay. But if she goes to the final 2 with Josh, rather, I think she probably loses there, because I do think that the trio of Shireen and Rachel and Muna they're going to vote for Josh. I feel like maybe Muna votes for Natalie because it's her Minnesota sister and she knew her prior to the game. Maybe that's true, but I do feel like Shireen and Rachel probably vote for Josh. I think going into the finale, I'm probably likely to vote for Natalie, but after listening to Josh, I'm probably likely to vote for him. I think Josh probably gets enough votes to win the game, which is all the more frustrating about the way things went down at the final 4, because Natalie didn't just take it away from herself, which she could have won the game. She also took it away from Josh. And Josh played an immaculate game, one that really deserved to be rewarded at the end. That he had everybody positioned correctly on the game board. If everybody's playing self-interestedly, Josh knows exactly what they're going to do. They're going to vote off Billy. Billy's going to drag Spencer. Josh gets what he wants, which is to get to the end against Natalie. If Natalie, votes against Billy, even before the revote, maybe Billy drags Natalie, and that way Josh gets to the end with Spencer. Even better, he can get to the end with Spencer and hopefully beat him. But he was going to get to the end no matter what happens because Billy's not going to drag Josh. And he knew that. That's why he took Billy to the final 4. That's why he made her safe at the final 5. And then it all comes undone in a flourish of emotionality when Natalie decides to save Billy. So credit Billy for that. But again, I will not credit Natalie.
Fair.
That's fair.
Let's go to your first impressions going into the house. You were one of the more high-profile house guests.
The highest profile, really.
The highest profile. What are we talking about?
I mean, I think Shireen would disagree potentially.
Listen, I'm gonna be real talk again. Okay, I think that about 7 people watch the show because of Shireen Ascoui, and it starts and ends with Abby Maria and ends with her mother. Like, come on, like I'm sorry.
Don't bring her mama
know.
into this.
I don't
want Shireen's mama in the comments. Don't bring Shireen's mama.
I don't know many people that watched this show because of Shireen. I know a lot of people watch because of me. Now that's cool. Like, I mean, I'll own my shit. Like, I mean, you know, I was a little bit of a jerk about it sometimes within the game. I get it, but it's part of my charm. Whatever. Like, I mean, you know, like, I mean, look, I'm just being real. Have y'all looked at the views since I've been out of the game? Did y'all see? Like, it was like over 40,000.
I didn't want to say.
I did take note. Actually, I did take note.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, it's not pulling quite what it did. It was about over 40,000 while I was in the game, and after I'm out of the game, it's more like 30,000. So, you know,
did they cut you a $10,000 check? I mean, I hope you're getting royalties.
Audrey,
something.
My bank account number is okay. No, I'm just kidding. Anything that I brought to the show, I was happy to bring to the show. That's the thing. Like, I mean, anybody that checked out Sequester just because my gay ass was on the show, I was like, please, thank God, because Sequester is literally one of the best shows on TV. In my opinion, it literally is. Like, I know that it's rough around the edges, and you know, maybe it's not edited the way everybody wants it exactly to be. You know, maybe the challenges need to be spruced up. Maybe, you know, maybe one round or two, the twist didn't land, but overall it gives you everything you want in a reality show. It gives you a cast that you can root for, a diverse cast where everybody has a fair chance, and gives people the opportunity to save themselves whether or not they're at the top or the bottom. Like, you just never know what's going to happen week to week, which you certainly cannot say about Big Brother. Like, at Big Brother, I knew that Cody was winning the game, like, you know, from the final 8 on, and that's really, really distressing.
So yeah, what was we heard a story from Josh. I don't know.
Is he tattling on me?
He got bumped out of the suite. Apparently, he was in the penthouse till you showed up, and then Sequester was like, "Hey, get in the closet." You got the king suite. Is that how it went down?
I'm just saying, yes, that is what went down. I don't know that was on purpose. I think they knew that my old ass was coming in. Bitch, I'm 45. Okay, like, I need my sleep. I made that clear to Audrey. Like, I need 2 things. I need my Coke, as in my Coca-Cola, right? Mm-hmm. And I need my sleep. Okay, that's what I need.
That was in your contract.
I am not going to be put in the closet. Okay, I'm just saying. They put Josh in the closet, and Josh, he took it. Josh was like, you know what? I get it. It's Brent. Like, he can have the bedroom. Like, you know, I'm gonna sleep in the closet from now on. So yes, he did get bumped out. I was not aware of that though. Like, that I came in and they were like, okay, you're sleeping here, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And only later did I find out that they had bumped him out and put.
Why would they even give it to him for a little bit? That's so funny. That's such a slap in the face. It's like, here, you have one night in a nice room.
Not even one night. I slept there the first night. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to go back in my head.
Yeah.
Like, where did I sleep the first night? I'm going around the house in my head. Like, yeah, I slept there. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah. So I think they kicked him out right away. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So then, did you feel coming to that house like royalty? Did you feel like either you're super safe because everybody's kind of you, or the opposite, there's a target on your back because of you?
I felt like at any moment the rug could be pulled out from under me. My job there, real talk, I was on the show because I've always wanted to do something like this, but I knew it was important for the show for me to survive at least a little bit. Like, I did not want to go out the first round. I felt like that a lot of people were going to check out the show because someone from Rob as a Podcast was on it. Period. End of story. It's not anything special about me. It's about the majesty of Rob as a Podcast, which is a great platform that I'm proud to be a part of. So I'm on the show and I know people are watching. If I'm out the first round, that's not really going to help the show very much. I need to make sure that I survive. So no, I was very worried going into the game. As the oldest house guest there, I also felt like there was I didn't feel like that people were going to vote me out right away, because I felt like people were like, yeah, it's Brent. We want to keep him around just a little bit and have some fun. But I did feel like whoever goes out of the game is not going to be feeling those fun feelings. Like they're not, as I said in the first round, like it's like somebody's going to get voted off, and that person isn't going to give a shit about Brent Wolgamott. They're going to be pissed. Okay. And I knew I was talking about Josh in that moment. So I knew Josh was going to be pissed. And so when he threatened me in the first round, like I was like, I saw my game. I saw everything. I saw the season flashing before my eyes. I was like, I cannot let this happen. I cannot let this happen. I have to find a way to be safe. And I tried everything during the first round to be safe. I will credit Muna. Muna totally outplayed me during the first round. I basically jumped the gun. For those of you who don't remember, that was the safety and exile round. I got word that Brendan was probably going to put me in exile, and I had tried to change his mind, and I didn't realize how close I was to actually changing it. But then I took my foot off the gas, and I started playing ahead. Like, okay, if I do get exiled, Muna, here's what I need to happen, because I started getting worried. I should not have done that. And Muna took full advantage and went in there and basically pushed me over the edge in terms of, getting me to be in exile so that she could get safety for herself, which good on her for doing that. I misplayed there. But I was definitely worried about my safety going into exile because, I don't know, like, I don't know these people from Jesus, they might turn around and vote me out, and if not, I'm definitely worried about being picked for a battle match. I don't know who's going to be voted off, but I think it's probably going to be Josh. And if Josh is voted off, I don't think he'll pull me into a battle match, but I don't want to take that chance. And then you saw what happened. Like, right away, he comes at me hardcore. And he came in, Josh is like really nice in the show. But do you remember the Josh that interacted with Marcelo? Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm so big brother. I apologize, Marcelo. When he interacted with Marcelo,
yeah,
he said, like Marcelo said, Josh, I hate you or whatever. And Josh was like, fuck you. Yeah. I hope you lose. Jacob whooped that ass. Like, he was such a dick. Okay. He was equally dickish with me. He was such a dick. He was like, Brent, if you vote for me, I'm pulling you in. And I'm like, why me? Like, why me? And he's like, well, and then he did make me feel, he gave me an out. Thank God he did, because I don't even know what I would have done if he didn't give me the out. He made it clear to me and said, Brent, if you don't vote for me, then we got no problem. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm just going to campaign for you to go home behind your back. And then when we all vote, I'm going to secretly vote the other way. Does that sound cool? Like, I mean, I didn't tell him that, but in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I know from the moment he says that to me, I'm going to make sure I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure Josh gets voted out. And I'm going to secretly vote the other way. I'm going to vote against Katie so that when the votes come in and he exposes my vote, he's going to see, look, I was truthful to you. I voted against Katie, just like I said I would. And then, I was like, you know what? I'll deal with Katie later. And I even thought there was a good chance he might pull her into a battle match. And if he pulls her into a battle match and beats her, then I don't even have to worry about Katie anymore. So like, it was a win-win as far as I was concerned. And I knew I had to cast that vote against Katie in order to survive round one. And like I said, it did feel, and this is like, I know other people have talked about this on the show. I've seen it on like Silent Sequester and even here, like when people talking about, I feel like I'm a big threat. When people talk about I'm a big threat or whatever, I do feel like that there is a certain amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Arrogance that comes with that, and saying, I'm a big threat, because a lot of people were saying they were threats within the game, and you're at home like why are they a threat? I have no idea why they're a threat. But I did feel as though even if I wasn't viewed as a threat, I was certainly a big trophy for someone to take out. Like, I really felt like somebody at some point was going to come along and be like, you know what, I want to take him out. And that's something I can put on my mantle. And Muna did. Eventually in round 5, she took me out. But up until then, I was worried. And every round, like, you can say it was because of my bad social game, and I'll own that. My social game was pretty terrible. But I do think throughout the game, I was taking shots every freaking round. I mean, like the first round, Josh threatens to drag me into a battle match. The second round, I'm standing up in front of everybody exclaiming like, come on, detective, where the fuck are you? Like, let's go, and then Rachel's accusing me of being the killer, and then having a final 2 with Josh. The third round, I'm being left out of the majority, and majority rules. The fourth round, I only survived because of a good draw. That was the ball and chain round where I was tethered to Billy and Shireen. Yeah. And then the fifth round, obviously, that was my undoing. So like every round, I felt like it was a fight I was swimming uphill the entire round, and finally in the 5th round, I managed to succumb to it. But I was very proud of the fact that I did manage to make it 5 episodes. As I said, like I didn't want to go out right away. I wanted to give the show enough of a story that I stayed there for a while and at least gave myself a shot to win the game. Like if I beat Spencer in that battle match at the final 9, I feel like I've got a shot. It's a non-zero chance. I don't feel like I'm a favorite by any means, but I do feel like there's a chance that I could win the game if I get to the end with somebody like, Natalie or Spencer or Josh or Marcelo. Like there were a variety of people that I felt like I could possibly beat by getting to the end. Yeah. It just depends on, how the jury was feeling about me.
I agree. I think being a Brent fan was certainly like a roller coaster of emotions, right? Because it's like on the one hand, you're playing fast, you're playing messy, you're yelling at people, you're slapping Spencer. Like there's so many things that are happening. It's like super entertaining, but the whole time you're like, I feel like I'm entertained, but the ship is going down. So it's just a matter of time.
I know.
I think you played a great game, but coming into it, right? Like just like keeping it real, coming into it. Sure, you want to give Sequester, give them some shine, give them a boost, but like personally, like this is like your lifeblood. Like this is your career. You talk about reality shows, you talk about specifically reality competition. So like knowing that you were coming into this, like, did you personally feel nervous or have that like, oh shit moment? Like I'm going in, if I suck, like how the heck am I going to be able to go back, pick up a mic and critique anyone's game from now until forever if I'm not employing the things that I always criticize people for? Like, how did you feel personally going into it?
Well, I've always been honest on the podcast and said, look, do as I say, not as I do. Okay. Cause like I played Sequester minis before and I've made various mistakes in that, I irritate people, I yell at people. Like, there's a difference between what you should optimally do and what I'm saying you should do and what I do when I'm within the game, because I want to play the game the way I want to play it. Just like Shireen wants to play the game she wants to play. I want to play the game that I want to play. This is the game that I wanted to play. The great thing about this season of Sequester, and for me in particular, and why I was so happy with it, even though I was booted in the 5th episode, Joy, I got to do everything that I wanted to do this season. Everything that I wanted out of Sequester, I got to do. Like, it was so rewarding to just go onto a show, play your ass off, get in fights, be the swing vote, take shots at people, get shot at, survive a vote or two, and then eventually lose in a really close battle match against like the beast of the season. Like, it was really a lot of fun. The only thing I didn't get to do was win. And there's no shame in that. Like Billy's a fantastic winner for this season. So like I never felt like I was cheated in my road, but I know like watching me at home, it was definitely a bit of a roller coaster experience.
Okay, so what if the stakes were higher? So what if you're on a Big Brother, right? You're saying, okay, you want to play the game you want to play, not necessarily the game that you think is going to get you the win. So if you're on a show like Big Brother, are you going to play the game you want to play and be committed to that, or are you going to be like, okay, the stakes are higher. I have $500,000 within my grasp. It's probably the best chances I'll ever have in my life. 1 to what? 13, 14, 16, 20, whatever.
Yep.
Are you going to play the game that you preach that you think will get you the win? Or are you gonna,
No, I feel like you're gonna, okay. If they were crazy enough to cast me on Survivor or Big Brother, I feel like that the guy that you saw in Sequester is the guy that you're going to see on your TV, because I just think that I'm incapable of making the moves that I know need to be done. I get bored. I get antsy. I want to I don't like keeping it in. It goes against my very personality. See, that's the thing about a podcast is I can just let it out anytime I want. I can come on here and talk with you guys and just let it out and have my say over something. Yeah. But within the game, like you can't always do that. So like sometimes it just blows up within the game. Like, when I was really the fuck over Billy just kissing their ass, it finally comes out when I'm revved up and I'm just like, Billy, stop kissing their ass. And then she comes at me and I'm coming at her and we're yelling at each other and stuff. But, obviously I should not have said that. That was a mistake. Socially, I should not. There's nothing to be gained by me saying that, but yet I did.
Yeah.
And I know why. Because I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. I was not having it with Miss Billy in that moment. No, I knew exactly what she was doing. She was kissing her ass.
I said a few times this season, I've said it a lot watching Big Brother, that at the end of the day, most players are who they are. I think it's so often why you see players go back for repeat seasons or redemption seasons, and sometimes will leave the exact same week in the exact same manner. There
is no learning, very little.
Nope. There's some players I think who are really able, Derek, obviously, to literally go undercover and just suppress who they are and manage week to week. But I think most people succumb to that. How impressed were you with? Were there other people in the house who you felt like were able to make those week to week survival moves despite who they were as a person? And if so, has your view on those types of players changed having been in the house?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that Natalie and Josh were two people that I totally underestimated within the game. Billy as well. Like, if I've said this to my friend Geneva, who works at RHAP, that if Billy gets to the end against Spencer, and I see the game that she's playing at home, like I see the game that's like coming through confessionals where she's like laughing at us and like, you know, cackling about being the killer and whatnot. Like I'm voting for her and I'm giving her interest. Like I'm giving her all the points in the world for that, because I just wanted to see some savagery from Billy somewhere along the way. That's just a little bit of savagery some ways. I don't want to hear all about your fucking loyalty, Billy. That's not fun. I want to hear about something cold that you did in the game. That's why I wanted to give all the points in the world to Jacob. That's why I had him number one on any ranking that I did. I would have voted for Jacob over anybody because of how savage he was. But like the people that made the moves that they needed to make within the game and still be true to sound strategy, I was so impressed by, with like Natalie doing what she did to get Muna out at the final 8. I don't think it was a good move for Jacob, but I do think it was a good move for Natalie. And she obviously got him to want to do it. Josh making the moves that he needs to make in order to position the game pieces correctly and doing it in such a way where, you know, he's bonded with these people, but yet he knows he's eventually going to cut them. Like, I don't think I have it within me to do something like that. I just don't think that my heart would let me. I really respect Josh that he's able to think ahead and say, I'm going to put you here so I can fuck you over and take you out of the game. You know, like I just can't play the game that way. And I'm just like all of the people that were able to play the game a certain way that was more equivalent to sound strategy, I give them all the credit in the world, because as someone who was there, I know that it's not really easy to do. By the way, I've noticed that coming through on the video, I have a little bit of an eye infection, so I'm not drunk right now. It's just like my eye's a little red.
Okay.
And so it's coming off a little bit on the... Yeah, I know, right?
Like,
it's coming off a little bit on the video, like it's a little, like it looks like I'm a drunk, but I'm not really drunk. See, this one's white, but like this one's a little red.
I just figured you got into like a bar fight or something.
No, I'm fine.
We're all in Brent.
I've been dealing with this eye infection for the last week, and I've been using this ointment, but it's still a little shaky. So there we go. Nothing's wrong. I just noticed on the video. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so let's talk about after the show. I mean, you kind of mentioned, you know, the relationships. Like, how's it been with the cast? Like, are you guys keeping in touch? Have you been able? I mean, sounds like you and Billy are good. You're solid, and that makes sense.
Billy's fantastic.
Billy's like a chill kind of person that's not really letting that kind of stuff get to her, you know, under her skin. So, what's it been like with everybody?
It's been mostly good. I will say that it's been good in that, like, I've not gotten into it with anybody postseason. Like, I feel like some people are not as close to me as maybe some other people in the cast are, but that's okay. We don't have to be friends. It does sadden me a little bit that, you know, the entire cast probably couldn't be in the same Zoom call together. Like, if we wanted to do a reunion, I don't think it's going to happen with all 13 of us. And it's not just me. Like, there are other things that are happening in the cast. Some people have not gotten over their feelings about what happened on the season. I'll just say this. I will sit on a Zoom call with anybody who wants to talk to me.
Of course.
I am totally fine owning my shit. You can call me out on my bullshit. I'll call you out on your bullshit. We'll keep it real and let's go. But, you know, in the name of the show, I would do it. But I don't think there are other people in the cast who would do it. I think there's people in the cast that don't like me, and there are other people in the cast that I think I got under people's skin. I think that
that bad? Actually, yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay, like, can I guess? Okay, let me guess. I mean, we got to keep it real. Let me guess. I feel like Rachel's not messing with you. Like,
she's not, but she's been very good postseason. She's like, Rachel is somebody who I respect a lot. But she has not come for me. Okay. She doesn't fuck with me, but she doesn't come for me. I mean, I'll keep it real. It's Shireen. Shireen doesn't care for me. Okay. Shireen doesn't care for me. I don't really know totally why.
Shireen seems to keep a very, very tight circle of like 3 people, and everyone else who's not in the circle can die in a volcano. It's like she seems really one or the other. And
listen,
we all gotta live, but
I can only say that I understand why the people on Second Chances voted her off second. Like, I really like. She has her likes and she has her dislikes, and they shine through very, very loudly. You know if you're in the circle or not. And I know I'm not in the circle.
She keeps that Big Sean song, I Don't F With You, on repeat. It's like, I don't F with you. You.
And yeah.
I got the sense, so we talked to Jacob a few days ago, and I got certainly the sense that him and Muna have not been able to fully reconcile. And I think that's unfortunate because, I mean, to me, I feel like, you know, I can certainly understand feeling that betrayal, but I would hope that, you know, when you come back and you see, you watch it and you see that it's all part of gameplay and none of it is personal, that some of that bite, you know, is released a little bit.
But that's the thing, though. That's the dichotomy, though, because I feel like Muna feels like it was personal.
Yeah.
Muna feels like it was personal that Jacob took her out there. That if he really cared about getting to the end, he would have kept her in the game, because the minute she went out, he became a target. Fair enough.
That's true.
On the other hand, I don't think Muna gets it from Jacob's perspective. It's all about perception. And I think both of them have valid points. She doesn't get it from Jacob's perspective because Jacob has a chip on his shoulder. He's a 2-time Sequester mini winner who doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He hasn't gotten it from me. You heard previously in the show, I said I thought he was miscast because I didn't really think of a lot of his second game. You heard him say in the show, his second win wasn't shit. He never felt like, in my eyes, like watching him now, it's evident to me that he didn't feel like he earned that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he came into this show with a sense of purpose. He could have played the safe, easy way, and him and Billy and Muna and whoever could have marched to the end, and it would have been hunky-dory, and I'm sure he would have got all the clicks and the points from whoever out there on Twitter is rooting for him to do that. But he was like, I don't want to do that. That's the boring way. I want to give people good TV. I want to do something amazing. I want to do this because to show that I'm a good game player, that I'm fun on TV, that you can root for me, that I'm not just somebody who's boring. And he did that. Everything he wanted to do this season. It's like with me, everything I wanted to do this season, I did. Jacob, everything he wanted to do, he did. But also, I'll say to Muna, everything she wanted to do for Muslim women of color, she also did. She was the star of the season. She didn't win the money, but she won the season, just like Jacob won the season. Got so many people who are watching, so many people who identify with you. You don't have to win the money to win the season. Like, I hate it normally when reality contestants say stuff like that, but it's really true in this instance because Sequester is such a show that's shot from the ground up with fan income and bootstraps and elbow grease, and it's just not something that you're not gonna get famous off of Sequester, right? Yeah. But they were able to do the things that they wanted to do to show, hey, I came out on top. And they both did. So I really wish that both of them could just get the fuck over it. But then again, I got my own problems with Shireen and she's not over me. So who am I to talk?
Maybe send her a Valentine's Day gift. Come up around the corner. Send her some roses.
Right?
Brent's like, I'm not sending no damn roses.
She would throw them in the trash. That's okay. Look, she's got her. Like I don't have any beef with Shireen. Like Shireen just, like as you said, Moses, she just doesn't fuck with me. That's okay. Like we all don't have to be friends after the season, and I'm totally fine with that. Like I feel like that I vibe at a different frequency than Shireen and Rachel, and that's okay with me.
It's all about the vibes.
Speaking of, I feel like you're one of the few house guests who will be able to give us both the real talk, but a comprehensive, articulate, both sides version of what happened. There was so much animosity towards Spencer at the beginning of the season, and from the viewer's perspective, I didn't understand a lot about Spencer at the beginning of the season. He was portrayed as this like giant physical threat. I was like, he seems to be a normal sized man with normal sized muscles. I was kind of baffled by that. And Spencer's dope. Like we talked to him, he seems like a really cool guy. So this isn't a knock on him. I was just so confused. Like, what is this portrayal of him both as this like monster athlete and as this like horrible, like
raging,
just none of that seemed to register with me. Can you shed more light perhaps on not just Spencer, but maybe anybody in the house that you felt like there was a disconnect between how they're viewed among the other house guests and how they were viewed perhaps by viewers?
I think the two people who are probably guilty of that are probably Spencer and Josh. Josh, because we didn't see his game within the game, but yet the viewers at home were like, wow, that's really amazing. And Spencer, because within the game, it felt as though like Spencer was radioactive, kryptonite. And yet watching at home, you're like, what's going on? So it seems to me, and I wasn't there for this, that it all emanates from the second round when Spencer, who had already ended up in exile during the first round. Again, Spencer is an Orger. He's played lots of these kind of games before. He's also, let's be real, Spencer's a gorgeous guy. There's no reason people call him Nick Jonas. Like he's used to getting what he wants. And you know what? When he came into the game, he wasn't getting what he wanted. He was in exile the first round. And then the second round, he's shot by the killer right away and on the list. And now people are going to vote for him. And he knows that there are people in the game that are going to vote for him. He does not have the social capability to be able to defend himself against this vote. So he panics in the moment, does something he shouldn't do. If there's one thing you know about Shireen, threatening her is not going to work. So going up to Shireen and Rachel, with Rachel standing there and saying, if I get voted out of the game, I'm going to pull the people that I can beat in a physical competition. They're not going to take kindly to that because they can read between the lines and they know exactly what you're saying. And ever since he said that, you would have thought he said, I'm just going to pick all the women here. Are y'all cool with that? Because that's how they took it. And then from then on, it was like exclamation gate, where like the thing that Spencer exclaimed in that moment, like they're going to hold it against him for the rest of the game. And they talked about it the rest of the game. And I heard about it the rest of the game. People came to me. Did you hear what Spencer said? Did you hear? Of course, on the retails, it's like telephone game. Did you hear what Spencer did? Yeah. And then like it becomes worse and worse. And then, you know, he gets into it with Muna during the third round and they have it out. And then he correctly, in my opinion, pulls her into a battle match. And obviously the people in the game hated that. Shireen and Rachel, they were, you know, allies with Muna. They needed Muna in the game. When he beats her in a battle match, they're pissed. They want to come for him, you know? So I feel like that from Spencer's point of view, he made some mistakes socially that then became personified by people in the game that they decided to hold things against him from a character point of view. Yeah. And obviously I never bought that because I voted for Spencer in the end and Spencer's my friend. Like Spencer is a douche. But he's my douche. I'm a narcissistic bitch sometimes. Okay. I get that. Okay. Like own your shit. Spencer, he knows he's a little bit of a douche sometimes. It's okay. Like, I mean, we all have the things about us that you know, people aren't going to respond positively to sometimes. I know what those things are about myself, but I own those things. Spencer gets it. And I don't feel like he meant any harm in that. And I would also submit that there's nothing wrong with him picking from people that he feels like he can beat physically.
That's the point of the game. That's the point of any competition game.
Yeah. There were plenty of physical battle matches in season 3. Like people are like, well, look at the battle matches. They're so easy. Well, like going into like the third episode when he pulls Muna in, he doesn't know what they are. Yeah. He doesn't know. Nobody has told us anything about the way the battle matches are going. So yeah, I was out there saying, yeah, the battle matches are going to be gender neutral. I know that Audrey is not going to end up, you know, Muna and Spencer in a tug of war. That was the tea. Before the season, there was a fake spoiler that I ended up in a battle match with Muna in a tug of war and I beat her. Can you imagine? Would that ever happen? Come on. Absolutely like she would kick my ass. Yeah. But no, like I feel like that it was a bit of a disservice to Spencer and you know, whatever. I think I'll say this about Spencer. He's handled himself admirably postseason. I just called him yesterday and told him that he's done such a good job of parrying the questions from various people and trying to account for his game and own his shit, but at the same time acknowledge the fact that, hey, I came within 2 votes of winning and I'm going to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's actually been not boastful. I don't know. Maybe I'm used to the Big Brother school of thought. We're like, we had racists in Big Brother. We had direct physical threats. We had knives being held. I mean, I feel like I've seen so many
headbutts,
right?
Yeah.
So many crazy things on these pots banging in your face. I was like, threatening arguably, factually the oldest woman in the house and arguably the least athletic woman in the house into a physical competition is not the offense that I think. I mean, if you threaten Natalie, who seems
I think factually athletic, the oldest woman in the house.
Yeah, and Shireen is factually the oldest woman in the house, right?
The least athletic. I think those are
you
both
said
facts.
it,
right? Yeah. I don't know if either of them. Well, Shireen can't dispute that. I don't think Rachel would dispute that. So like it wasn't a situation where like he went up to a Christmas and was like, hey lady, like you know, like
yeah, right. Completely dismissing her physical, you know, abilities and her physical accomplishments, 100%. And to hear it again, like it does kind of annoy me because I really was hoping you would say, oh, well, let me tell you what actually you guys didn't see. What you didn't see is that he called this person fat, or what you didn't see is that he just said, you know, I'm only the guys can sit at this table. So it's like I can certainly understand, you know, how the narrative can be spun, the combination of his threat and then the combination of I think that interaction he had with Muna where he was like, nope, I'm not going to talk to you. I need to go talk to people who are actually like, who, you know, whose mind I can actually change. I get that how those two things could kind of create this narrative, but when you watch it back, like that's the point of every single one of who in their right mind in a reality competition would be like, you know what? I see that. Well, maybe Josh would, because Josh has a weird prison mentality where he picks the biggest guy, he tries to go for them. But I think any person would be like, yeah, that huge muscular person who clearly could have a physical advantage on me, I'm not going to pick them just in case there's any sort of physical component. That's not a crazy thing to say.
And to me, it's even less offensive that he made it physical. If he had said like, I can beat you in a mental, right? Like if that would be
the tea.
Out of pocket,
oh my God,
right?
yeah.
But like he's a young guy. Like, yeah, he should be able to beat an older woman in a physical competition. That's not.
Can you imagine if he says, I know that I think the competitions are going to be all mental, and I just want you to know I'm going to pick the person that I can beat in a mental competition, Rachel. Can you imagine? I
actually think that'd be worse.
Right?
Way worse. That would be way worse.
Yeah.
And I would be pissed. Like, excuse me.
Yes. I'm like, what makes you say that? Like, why do you think? But
if a 24-year-old guy thinks he's gonna, beat me in a physical competition, he probably will. And who cares if he thinks that? Like, why would I be upset that he thinks that? But if he's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you in a mental competition, I'm gonna take exception.
Okay.
Like, excuse me. You know, so
yeah. No, they got all bent out of shape about that. Everything you saw with Spencer was on camera. The only thing that wasn't on camera that I think played into a little bit of the way that people felt about him was the whole Pizzagate thing. Did he tell you about Pizzagate?
No.
All right, quick story. So on day 0, when we all met each other, okay, they put out pizza for us, okay, and they had cheesy bread, all right, and you can take what you want, and there were some other things out there that you could have, but like I think there were like 3 pizzas, and there was like 13 of us plus some production people and whatnot. So I don't know if somebody said take 2 slices or something. Maybe I think somebody said that along the way, but Spencer goes through the line and he takes 2 slices of pizza, but then he takes some cheesy bread and he takes the marinara sauce and sort of pours it over the cheesy bread. And then he walks out. Now it became, and I never saw this. So I just heard about this. Then I believed it up until I talked to Spencer. It became known in the house that Spencer took like 4 or 5 slices of pizza. So that's why that line in like the 3rd or 4th episode, when Brendan says like Spencer's the kind of guy who would like have a pizza party with 10 people and eat 5 of the slices. That's where that's coming from. Okay. So that's the thing that became like an urban legend in the house about how Spencer took, 4 or 5 slices of pizza while the rest of us only had 2. It's the age old thing, like on Survivor, the biggest guy is going to take the most amount of food and how everybody gets butthurt about that. But he didn't actually. He only took 2 slices of pizza. He just two slices of pizza and 2 slices of cheesy bread, just like we all freaking did. But for some reason, it became known as Spencer and Pizzagate. So that's why,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Actually, I could see why they would not like him, because if you're messing with my food,
right?
If I think you're right, I mean, if I didn't see it, but if I think you're eating more than me, I'm upset, and now I actually don't like you. So I completely now agree with Rachel.
Well, this is how big of a deal it was, because it actually came up in the finale, but it was cut. You just didn't see it. So Brendan had 2 questions.
Yeah.
One was that raising the hand question, and then the second, actually, he asked this first. He asked Spencer, so you have 5 friends over to your house and 1 pizza with 10 slices. How many pieces do you take? And of course, Spencer was like, 2. Like, but Brendan thinks like Spencer took like 4 or 5 pieces of pizza. So like, he's not getting the answer he wants. So of course, Spencer's response falls really flat, but Spencer's being truthful in the moment. He's saying 2. So, but Spencer can sense that there's something going on with Pizzagate. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's just like, that's why it was cut, because it just didn't work. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brendan is such a troll. Like, even that question of like, to raise your hands, I was like, what is happening? He's like, yeah, so think about that. I was like, okay. All right, Brendan.
There's some people on social media that really love that.
I was confused.
Look, I love Brendan. I think he's fantastic. Brendan's a super guy, especially post show. I felt like that specific question and the way it was done, it fell flat from a TV perspective, because it's just like dead air of like, that isn't entertaining to me, I felt like he could have done, maybe he could have done it faster, but whatever.
Also,
I just don't think it
perspective,
worked.
Like there was no narrative of Brendan Spencer beef, really. Like, they hadn't had any confrontations. I mean, they had way less than even like you and Billy are on good terms. You had more confrontations.
Yeah, other than the end when I got the boot. Yeah,
so it kind of came out of nowhere, and I wasn't expecting it to be so confrontational than it was. And I was like, oh, okay, and then it was over.
Yeah, he's like, think about that. I'm like, okay, I thought about it, and all right,
girl, we did. What you got now? What you got?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Well,
so what's next? Shouldn't we get to that?
That's the question.
I mean, like I'm with RHAP and obviously covering. I'm off of social media currently. I'm taking a little break. Obviously, for those of you following me on social media, got into a little heat on social media and decided to lay low for a little while. But I'll be back. I still got my Twitter. You just can't at me right now, but you can at me on Instagram at OneLuckyGay. One spelled out ONE. Big Brother Canada season 9 with Miss Arissa Cox as the executive producer is starting with a cast where they have, I believe, guaranteed, or their goal, I don't know, it's one of the two, that they're going to be at least 50% BIPOC. So obviously Sequester led the way in that. So I would love to say that Big Brother Canada 9 is following in the footsteps of what Audrey did on Sequester season 4. And look at what an amazing season it was. Look how everybody had a shot to get what they wanted done. You know, like I love this season. I'm so proud to be a part of this season and the cast that Audrey put together. She did a really amazing job. As far as me, like I said, I'm starting Big Brother Canada 9 with RHAP. I'm sure me and Melissa and Taryn are going to be covering the live feeds for what's happening in Canada. Hopefully this season doesn't get cut short because of COVID like last season. And then, you know, into the summer with Big Brother 23. But you can always find me at OneLuckyGay on Instagram if you want to follow me. And I'll eventually be back on Twitter. Just, you know, I don't lay low for the masses for now.
Break.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We all gotta take a little break sometimes.
We gotta take a little break. Yes.
Well, I think that's it from us. I mean, you've been, first of all, shout out to you because you really put us on, right? You really were the first one from the cast to engage with us and to spread the word and to make our channel what it is today. And it's growing and we're more excited.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Than ever. Yeah. I mean, we're really pumped about things we can cover next.
The ratings, Moses. I helped with the ratings.
You brought us the ratings. And really, you know, when Most and I started this, we started covering BB All Stars, you know, the All Stars 2. And, you know, we stopped halfway, one, because, you know, there was so little to cover. It was so ridiculous. But also two, you know, it's like you certainly want to have that engagement and that helps. And so we really appreciate you just like really just engaging with us and putting us on and just being
it was
so
my
supportive.
Pleasure. You guys are fantastic. I would like to point out that I will thank Brendan forever because I never said the word ratings. I never ever said ratings. Not one time did I ever say ratings. But in his confessional, Brent's talking to me about I got to keep him for the ratings. And so like that became a meme after the season. I guarantee you, if I ever go back to Sequester or anything, I'm going to wear shirts that say the king of ratings. Like it's going to be a thing. So thank you, Brendan, for that. And I wear that crown proudly. I should have changed my my screen name in this broadcast to the king of ratings as well, but I forgot.
King of ratings.
Yes.
Will we ever see you on Big Brother? Is that even possible? Is there?
Yeah. Can you guys?
I mean, I can. Like, I mean, you know, I think I am far too
real.
Yeah, for Big Brother. Although you never know. I mean, you never know. I think that like it's like a 1 in a bazillion chance. Yeah. I think they would probably cast Melissa or Taryn before myself, but I mean, I think I'm better TV. So I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you know, I'm probably not gonna win the game, but I'm gonna try my hardest while I'm there, you know? So yeah, listen, I don't even send in audition tapes for Big Brother anymore. Like they know who I am. They know where I'm at. If they want me, come get me.
Damn. You hear that?
Yeah.
I was going to say hear that Robin cast, but she's not. I don't know. Yeah, she's not there. Hear that new casting director?
Yo, this has been awesome. Okay. So do you want to do our sign out? I mean, it doesn't have to be like our sign out, but do you want to do like a sign out for us?
I can't. I don't know that I remember. What is your sign out?
It's just this has been Real Talk. Yeah.
And then this has been Real Talk with Real Siblings.
So say one more time. Sorry.
Tell us. So you want to tell the fans to like and subscribe?
Yes.
And then this has been Real Talk with Real Siblings. You can give it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So hey, if you liked what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notifications button so that you know that they are going live or that there's a new video dropping on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, like I said. And this has been Real Talk with Real Siblings.
Yes,
what a professional.
That was amazing. That's that RHAP professional sign off. We love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
Well,
great.
I'm glad
you were so welcome. It has been my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye, y'all.